Welcome to Coffee Conversations with Les and Paul. 30 minutes for God.
A podcast sponsored by Piedmont Road Church of Christ and Ministry League.
We are here to discuss Bible topics just as if we were asking Jesus himself. I am Paul Spurlin.
And I am Les Sandifer, and we hope you will enjoy our relaxed Bible-based discussions.
Thanks for joining us as we think about and talk about all those things we'd ask Jesus over a cup of coffee. And welcome back to the show.
Back to the show.
Glad to have you with us, as always.
With your cup of coffee.
With your cup of coffee.
Paul's all freshened up on his coffee.
I am, and I set it somewhere far out of my reach, but I will get it in a little bit. I don't know what I was thinking. Got to have that. Got to have that coffee. It is Coffee Conversation with Les and Paul, and of course, the Lord Jesus. Hopefully your Bible is open and you're ready to talk and ask questions of the Lord and find out. Make sure he's got his cup, and we are ready to go. Enjoy those cup. I mean, ask yourself this question. How many times over the past week did you go to a drive-thru for coffee? Are you a Starbucks person? Are you a Dunkin' person? I guess it depends on where you live. Or are you a Caribou person? Also depends on where you live.
Or do you make it at home and throw it in your
Or
Yeti?
do you make it at home and you throw it in your Yeti like I did this morning? And Les did, actually.
I used to drink McDonald's coffee all the time.
Ooh, no.
And I kind of got to where I didn't care for the taste of it
Yeah.
after a while.
Yeah.
So then it was Burger King for a while. And now I just get the cheap Amazon K-Cups.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Solimo or Solimo. I think their house brand used to be a different name.
Nice.
It was almost like it was just hieroglyphics on the K-Cup.
Right.
I didn't know what it was.
Of course, as you're listening to this, we're probably on top of Thanksgiving, I think.
Yeah.
We're close to it.
Very
we're in the
close.
week or the week before. So tis the season. And so there was a time there over the past month where if you went to, I believe it was Starbucks, where you could get your pumpkin spice latte.
Yes.
PSL. Yeah, that's what it was.
PSL.
PSL.
Because we have to acronym everything.
Pumpkin spice latte. That's
We
what
do
they
that.
do.
We do that at work.
PSL.
Everything's an acronym.
Yeah. And we were on a trip a few months ago, and that was something we really tried to get, and it wasn't available where we were at.
Really?
No, they didn't have it. They didn't have it.
Oh, that's just sad.
We were in line for it. And they didn't get it. That's why we came back frowny. Well, not me, because I go for the caramel no matter what. But
You don't go for pumpkin
no,
spice?
I don't go for pumpkin much of anything.
Huh.
Although, I will say, and if she's listening, and I hope she does, Brenda Christie makes the best pumpkin bread
Okay.
ever.
Ever.
I'm not into pumpkin things. This is legit awesome. I'm
Okay.
just straight up going to tell you.
Does it have nuts in it?
Brenda Christie, no, it doesn't. That's why I like it.
Oh.
Yeah, no nuts. Because it's a pumpkin, I guess, and they don't have nuts in pumpkins. They have seeds. But it was good.
Well, apples don't have nuts either, but
Oh,
Apple nut
bread,
bread.
apple nut bread. Well, that's in the name. I guess you're okay with that.
that's true. That's fair.
If we get into the whole
If it's
dessert,
pumpkin
what it
nut
works,
bread, then-
I don't like nuts in my bread.
You ever had cheddar cheese on your apple pie?
No,
It's excellent.
I've seen that done.
Yeah. It's really good.
I really have never tried that.
Many, many years ago, somebody said, "Do you want cheese on that?" And I'm like, "What?"
It's not a hamburger.
And they gave it to me, and I went, "Okay, I'm sold." It
That's
actually
funny.
was pretty good.
That is funny.
Thank our sponsors.
Piedmont Road,
Go ahead.
Church of Christ and Ministry League. Find those at lifeinchrist.com and ministryleague.com. And if you'd like to talk to us, send us a message, ask us questions, anything you want, because they're filtered and we won't let bad questions come in. But anyway, it is Coffee Convo at lifeinchrist.com, and we would love to hear from you and talk to you, ask questions we'll send back.
Text us if it motivates you.
Yeah, that's right. You got our numbers. If you know us, you got our
some of
numbers.
you do.
Yeah. We're not going to put them on here.
No.
But anyway, you know how to contact us. More shows coming out, more ways to reach us coming out soon, and kind of excited about some of those things. And so we'll see how that transpires. We're all about sharing God's message in whatever medium that we can use, and so we're excited about that as well.
Yeah, you're going to try out something new, aren't you? Do
I am.
you want to plug it, or you want to
I mean, we can
surprise it?
if you want. So I'm venturing into something that is not new, but it is kind of new to me, and that is making these short TikTok videos under the name of a it's a podcast name, but it's not it's not a show. It's just it's a daily no, it's more of a 2 or 3 times a week maybe video.
Well, they're short. You could do it every day.
That's true. It depends what it is. And we go a lot of places and can do things and just share just life, logic, and whatever, you know. Yeah. So we're looking forward to that. I'm calling it the Paul Sperlin Show, and it's where Paul Sperlin goes. And there'll be a lot of plugs for this. We'll make sure and remind people about what we do here, and
I've seen
things like that.
I've seen the logo. It's cool.
It's neat. I'm excited about it. It kind of coincides with the website.
Paul's colorblind, but I'll just tell you the colors are red and blue.
Yeah, red, white, and blue.
If you're
God bless America.
If you're colorblind,
like me,
there you go.
There I go.
If not, you'll know what they are. You'll know what they are when you see it.
That looks good. Thank you.
Yeah, I said, "Oh, it's blue," and he goes, "Oh,
cool,"
because he didn't know that was blue.
Yeah, but anyway.
You pick up some colors though, right?
I do.
Yeah,
I do. If they're really bright and they're together, that's difficult for me. And I know that the next thing you want to ask is, so how do you drive? You know, the bright green, red, and yellow. That's enough of a differentiation where I'm okay. But like, you know,
and hopefully they're all stacked the same way.
That's in some places they're stacked sideways.
I know.
And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, which way did they stack
Which
it?
way do we go? I mean, it's
the red on the
1, 2, or
left
3.
or is the red on the right?
So I've got 33% chance of getting it right.
And the cars around you will help you.
Yeah. I'll wait and see which way they go, and then we'll do it that way.
Yeah, if
That's
they're
funny.
all stopped, you can.
That's true.
It's a fair bet that.
So when you were in school, or for me, I guess I did this in school, but when I entered into the Navy, I had to take this visual test, this eye test, and it's the big circle. It's got all the different dots in it.
Yeah.
And to me, they're all the same color.
Right.
But it's like
somewhere in there is a number.
Different shades. Yeah, there's a number in there.
Yeah.
And there's different shades of green or whatever. Right. But them being so close to each other, that's the part that bugs me the most. I'm not like a dog. I don't see in gray and white. You know, that's not it. I
How
see
do you
colors.
know dogs see in gray and white?
I asked them.
Oh.
Research.
That's what they say.
That's what they say.
They also say dogs see in 2D, but I mean, I've seen dogs and cats
Which
react
one
to
told
a
you
television.
that?
So.
Which one told you that?
Yeah.
But
I had a dog many years ago.
Yeah, we were.
No, stop.
We were really
stop.
close.
Now we sound like the Son of Sam or whatever that killer was.
Yeah.
That got his orders from a dog.
Dude, did you watch? You didn't watch Game Day last week?
No.
When what's his name? Kirk Herbstreit.
Yeah.
They kept talking about his dog Ben. It's like his best friend. He died. And they brought it up while he was on the show.
What?
And his hands are shaking. This man went from just completely solemn sitting there to crying like a baby. They must have been really close.
I hate that because I like Kirk Herbstreit.
I do too.
I hate that
that's
they brought
fine.
it up.
He was hurt. Oh, he was hurt
Yeah.
so bad. And I like dogs, and I've had dogs, and we've had to lose dogs.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I would just lose my composure completely.
On
on
your televised show.
Now, he did take him, on my televised show that I'm ready for. It's like, why would you pull that on me, first of all? But also, I don't know. It's like, it's a dog. I mean, if you're listening right now and you think that dogs do go to heaven, you might want to turn it down. But they don't.
Yeah, because we're going to.
Sorry.
That's actually a very good segue into our topic.
Right? I didn't even plan that.
You
Look
weren't?
at you. I
thought that's where you were headed.
No.
Oh.
See how God works. I'm telling you, got to bring in Jesus, and he makes everything happen.
Yeah, the movie that all dogs go to heaven. No, they go to Mother Terra. They just
Mother Terra.
They just rot in the earth. I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings that has a dog, and because I mean I had two for 18 years. I mean, it was tough on me when they passed away because the day it happened I bawled.
Yeah.
But it was my birthday, the second one.
Oh, my word.
Yeah, I had to call Charlotte and say, she's gone. We need to take her to the vet.
That's a lot.
Because she wouldn't move. And, it's just one of those so you care because they're a living creature that you're responsible for. But let's put them in their perspective, right?
You can tell that we do a lot of podcasting because you called that an episode. You almost called that an episode.
Oh, stop.
It was an episode.
Did I?
We podcast a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool.
So what have we been talking about?
So this is because of the conclusion. What we've been talking about is the fragrance of Jesus.
Yeah.
If you open your Bible, 2 Corinthians 2, 12 through 17, you'll find the mentioning there of the aroma of Christ that should be spread everywhere. That's you being with Jesus, you sharing the knowledge you receive from his teachings.
Right.
And so that's basically what all this is about. That's really what the essence of every show we do really is about.
Yeah.
The other one is the Revelation show. If you haven't started listening to it, go to it. It's really great.
Very focused.
Really points out all the things going on in the book of Revelation. Also on this network, so you can find that at Ministry League app. But fragrance of Jesus, and then we started by talking about, if we're going to be the fragrance of Jesus, we need to study, which means to prepare for him, to prepare to talk about him, but also to stand, to defend him, and then to share it, to evangelize.
That's right.
Well, then we moved on to the second set of letters, and those are the letter C.
Moved into the C's.
Into the C's. And so by this, we talk about how do you measure your life? What is your life measured by?
Yeah.
So let's tell them about what the C's are.
What a complete forever life looks like. And for the last few weeks, we've talked about your level of conviction to Jesus and to the Heavenly Father. What is your contribution to that work, to that thing that you're doing as a Christian? I mean, conviction's about standing up really kind of for what you believe in. We talked about the stand and defend, and it was really a deeper dive into the idea of how convicted are you about your relationship with Jesus.
Right.
And the natural evolution of that is your conviction to Jesus will play into your contribution to the work.
Right.
What are you doing? Which then naturally leads us to this idea of what's the conclusion going to be for you? And that's kind of where we are today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking about the idea of when it's all said and done.
You've done your best.
Yeah. Je suis fini. I believe that's French for you. It is finished. But when it's all finished, when it's all done, what does it look like?
What does it look like? Where are you at? And are you ready for it?
Yeah.
A lot of people, they're just not ready for it.
Well, I think we're going to talk about the idea of the conclusion, but we're going to talk about it really.
Even if they are ready for it, they're not ready for it.
Yeah, that's really what we're going to talk about we're going to talk about the aspect, not so much because you can't really look back once you're in heaven. I mean,
and you wouldn't want to.
I mean, once you pass from this life, you're not going to, you might retrospect.
Yeah, I mean,
but
maybe.
But really what we need to be doing now is we need to be asking ourselves, what is our conclusion going to be? And is there something we need to change
to get there,
to make sure that conclusion is what we want it to be?
So basically what you're saying is, will you pay the price to receive the prize?
Ooh. That never crossed my mind, but that's a great way to put it.
I mean, will you pay the price to receive the prize?
Yeah.
I think once we're in heaven, we're not going to look back and say, oh, I wish I would have done this. I don't think that.
No, that's not the way it works.
I don't think the spiritual side is going to allow the physical. Well, it's not going to be there. There won't be any physical.
Well, Jesus gave us a representation of the Hadean realm, and the aspect that there is some regret that goes on for folks that don't pass from this life and have a positive outcome.
Right.
We don't get any. It's in Luke chapter 16, but we don't get any imagery there of the rich man. I mean, of Lazarus having any reflection or retrospection, if you will. The retrospection comes from the other side.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to send my brothers back.
Take care of them.
They have the same message.
Please go
that
help
you
my
got.
family. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't.
That's a good point.
We don't need to send any. We don't need to send anything back.
Right, but right now
They have it.
you can fix it.
Well,
or,
and that's
or put it on the right track.
and that is
correct
the
it.
point to us, right?
Yeah.
We have the message today.
Right.
Are we listening to it?
Mm-hmm.
Are we living it? Are we contributing? Are we convicted in what we're doing so that the conclusion we get is the conclusion we want?
Are you all about it?
Are you all about it?
And most of this really comes down to 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 6, 7, and 8. Some of Paul's final days, which actually took place. Scholars believe that his final days were in what's known as the Mamertine prison. Mamertine is a very dark surly place, as far as a place and where he went to die. I mean, he's about to be taken to the guillotine. He's about to be taken to have his head removed, and what we don't want you to think this about Paul's final days is, don't think that this is somebody who they had to take him, kicking and screaming down the hallway. He's like, I'm ready to go.
Thinking that he was ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
And
to
he
go.
said it.
He did. He literally said it.
We get plenty of writing from Paul that says, and he was ready to go before his time came.
The time by the departure's at hand.
Because he wanted to have this outcome of heaven.
Right. Fought the good fight, finished the course.
Yeah, 2 Timothy 4, for I am already being poured out as a drink offering, and the time of my departure has come. Paul was facing it.
And that in the Greek is a release.
Okay.
It's like a release, the pouring out.
Yeah.
It's just like letting it go because he's done it all.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Henceforth, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, and not only to me, but also to all who have loved his appearing.
Now, we want to give you a little note here that we share quite a bit in our Revelation podcast. When they say crown of righteousness.
In our what podcast? Revelation?
The Revelation podcast.
I heard relation, so sorry.
Ooh,
sorry if that.
No. We have another podcast. It's called Revelation Edition, and we need you to go back and find that and watch that or listen to those. But in that, we talk about how symbolism, don't let symbolism bog you down, because it's just symbolism, and it's descriptive, and it's like a really nice illustration.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's right.
That's what this is.
Yep.
We're not going to be, at a Burger King convention. Everybody's not wearing a crown.
Right.
All
We're
right?
not going to be handed a literal.
Fold those around, put that on your head. It's not a literal crown, but it is a symbolism of righteousness, of reward. He uses the word, I think it's ESV, that says, will award him or award me at that day.
Maybe that's a podcast topic for another day. It's just,
probably
just around the whole idea of the crown, the Bible.
Oh yeah,
Bible crown and its representation.
Well, and you've heard
in
a star in your
ways.
crown, things like that.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it just shows of worth and goodness.
There's at least 3 very specific references to crown in the New Testament that could be explored.
Oh yeah,
on a different
3 things
on a different podcast. Yeah, at least 3. So
3.
I mean, that's standard practice, right?
There we go.
And 3's a Bible number.
That could be your balance.
It's deity.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
We got all sorts of things. I mean, that's the standard business for a sermon. Ooh, is that where it comes from?
3.
Why do we have 3 points in every sermon?
Well, it's not every.
It's not
Some
every.
people have a bunch.
No, some have 7 or 8.
I mean, 3's good. 3's a good 30-minute number.
Yeah. 3 works.
3 works. 3, deity, Dale, as in Dale Murphy. Anyway.
What?
Dale Murphy, his number was 3.
Oh, man.
I'm just saying. Got to throw a little sports in there.
Yeah, Paul's a Braves fan.
Just for y'all.
Dale Murphy, you can be a fan of Dale Murphy without even just being a Braves fan.
He's just a good dude.
He was a good dude.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, the conclusion of it all for Paul was he's ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it on the last show about this idea of hope.
Mm-hmm.
Hope is not the I don't know.
Right.
Hope is the promise.
But think about last words. When you think about people, okay, you're about to go. Do you have a last request, or is there a last thing? Or, this is Paul's last words.
Yeah.
He's ready to go. He's ready to be rewarded. He knows that a reward is coming. He knows that final family reunion is about to take place, and he's ready for it.
He knows where he's going.
He knows where he's going.
He knows the life he's lived.
Absolutely. That's good stuff.
Yeah, with all the warts he had.
He did.
Along the way.
Oh, my word. He was not perfect by any stretch.
No.
And that should give us a good example of no matter what kind of crummy life we've lived,
right.
There's ways around it. There's ways past it.
And when you're talking to people that are challenged by things they've experienced in their life or they've done in their life,
that's true.
There's no bridge too tough to cross.
Right. And if you're
Jesus.
breathing, you have an opportunity to put it back on the right track.
Yep.
So that's what we're talking about when we talk about we've talked about your conviction, your drive towards Jesus.
Yeah.
We've talked about your contribution, what you're going to offer to
Yeah.
Jesus. But now this is the conclusion. This is
So
how are you going to finish it off?
let me ask you a question.
There you
Can
go.
you know today what your conclusion's going to be tomorrow if you die?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We're done. See you later, folks.
1 John 5:4.
Talk to me.
Let's go. 1 John 5:4. Basically, the Lord is basically telling us that. And turn to it. Let's go to it.
Let's just look at it.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's a relevant question. It's a question that we should ask ourselves, and it's a question that we should be able to confidently answer the way Paul just answered it.
Yeah.
1 John 5:4, for everyone who has been born of God overcomes the world, and this is the victory that has overcome the world, our faith.
You will have the victory
Yep.
through faith in Him. As that passage continues, being born again adds you to that church, adds you to that way. And there are Christians who don't think that you can know. Oh, I've got to be good. I've got to live right. And first of all, you can't be good. You're not good. Only one is good, and that's God. Romans 3 verse 10. But anyway, we need to understand that God is the rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. If you diligently seek Him, that's going to enhance your conclusion. I mean, live for Him. Do what He asks you to do. And that's where we're at.
Hiram Kemp preached it up at Bowling Green, Kentucky, when I was up there recently. And in his sermon was about the 7 lies that the world will tell you. And one of those was good people go to heaven. And he made a statement in his sermon more than once in that section. Good people don't go to heaven. People that are obedient to God go to heaven.
That's right.
Now, some may go, oh, well, and draw this distinction, this fine line about being good and whatever. That's fine. But, Paul, you're right on. You're spot on. It isn't about patting ourselves on the back for the life we live that we call good. It's about being obedient to God,
Right.
and that's how we overcome the world. Our victory is through our faithfulness to God, not our version of what we think is good.
Well, and I wasn't intending to go here, but, just the week before, I preached on that very thing.
Okay.
Now here.
Yeah.
About,
Remind me.
Yeah, people live by the weight scale.
Oh,
And
that's
they live by the
right.
way of the scale.
Yeah.
And they think if they have more good marbles on one side than bad marbles on the other, then they're good. And it's like you go to heaven, you give a grocery list of all the good things you've done. And if I'm better than them, then I should be okay. And that's not how it works.
Well, and that was the point Jesus was making.
Exactly.
Not everybody that says to me, Lord, Lord, well,
That's right.
didn't I prophesy? Didn't I do good things in your name?
Exactly.
And he'll say, get away from me.
Yeah. Depart from me.
Depart from me. I never knew you.
That's right.
So it's a self-evaluation. Oh, excuse me. It's a self-evaluation thing always, right? We talk about this a bunch, but that's kind of where we are. And really this thing about the conclusion is at this point, it's us really trying to encourage folks to say, let's make sure we're doing the right things.
Right. And Revelation 2:10 kind of echoes, it definitely echoes what is told to Paul, of Paul in 2 Timothy 4:8. I'll be faithful to death, you'll receive a crown of righteousness. Again, that's not a literal crown, but be faithful to God to the very end, and you're going to be okay. You're going to be fine. You shouldn't have to worry. You should be able to say, yes, I know where I'm going to go, because you're being faithful to Him. You love Him, and you're obedient to Him.
Yeah, and the Christians that were being addressed in the 7 churches in Revelation, they were facing some persecution. I mean, the translational thing with be faithful until or unto death really means the process of all the way through death. And that's a stronger, really kind of a stronger message to think about, that your faithfulness may cause your death.
Right.
We're not likely to face that in this country. I mean, reality, we might, but it's not as likely as it might be in some other parts of the world. But that was the message given to them, was that you're under persecution here. So, you may actually have to be faithful even as you're being killed for
Right.
your faithfulness.
Jesus was.
Exactly.
And aren't you glad that he was relentless in pursuing us?
Yeah.
You know, he went through shame and pain and suffering in his pursuit of us. And so I think that's something to consider, is what all Jesus went through to win us over.
Yeah.
And today we're doing the same thing. We're trying to win people over to him through the word, through his message. And on a different show, the other show, where we talked about Revelation chapter 5, verse 5.
Yep.
I mean, powerful verse.
Powerful.
I mean, it really, chapter, but it really, and I think it's neat to cross over the both shows, what we talk about. But
the Bible crosses over.
It does. It just
I mean,
does.
it's one
so
it's one
great.
big message.
Yeah.
Right?
Uh-huh.
That's all leading us to the conclusion.
And here's the big question.
Yeah.
I see what you did there. Sorry, I got a couple things here.
It was very exciting, wasn't it?
It was neat. Here's the big question. In Jesus' pursuit of us,
Right.
would you say that it was worth it? Did he reach you?
Great question.
To the listener, did Jesus reach you? Does he have you? Is your conclusion a conclusion that he would be happy with, that you should be happy with, that heaven will allow you to enter because of the life that you're living? There's no distraction that's worth missing this relationship with Jesus.
Yeah. And that's what the world throws at you, right?
Yeah.
All these distractions
That's right.
that'll pull you away,
Mm-hmm.
that'll try to, Satan's always around trying to misinform.
Yep.
You know, he's putting in the little prods here and there to get you off track.
That's true. That's true.
1 Corinthians 11:1.
Imitate me as I imitate Christ. Faithful words from Paul.
And that's really that's the gist of it all, right?
Be who Jesus wants you to be, and he wants you to be as much like him as possible.
And then
He doesn't expect to be perfect.
No.
He just expects you to strive for it.
And then we'll know what our conclusion really is, right?
Absolutely.
When it's all said and done.
When it's all said and done. For Les Sandifer, I'm Paul Sperlin. This has been Coffee Conversation with Les and Paul. 30 minutes for God. Thank you for being with us. Thank you to Piedmont Road and Ministry League for sponsoring this good show. And thank you, the listener, for being a part of this. We look forward to being with you over that next cup of coffee.